Hello, 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 my Wally Kits and my Wally Cats. It's the Cocktail Social. Hi, socialites.
Hi.
What's going on?
I missed y'all last week.
You better have.
Me too.
Can you tell I'm excited to be here? Because let me tell you something. I was out here making these coins. You know, Mama had to make a buck because this Corona is kicking the hookers' ass. So I had to make my money, but thank you so much, Nate, for holding it down for me, and Jonathan and Miss K for holding it down for me. I saw the show. Y'all had me cracking up. I was listening. And, Miss Mizell, because I was, where the hell is Miss Mizell at? Well, anyway, y'all had me cracking up. I had so much fun watching y'all last week. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to make my way on here today. But good old Mother Nature threw us this nice old snow and ice. And I was so happy because my job said, hooker, stay home. But you know, a bitch always got something to do. So I wasn't resting or relaxing today. But I hope everyone else was. Did y'all enjoy y'all 2-day vacay?
What vacation?
I've been on vacation for 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Don't be. Every once in a while, I deserve it. I need to turn my brain off, and so I did.
Oh, why didn't you tell me you was turning your brain off? I could have turned my brain off with you.
Every once in a while, I need to turn my brain off. So I took 2 weeks to turn it all the way off.
Wow, geez, me Christmas. What are you sipping on, Miss Mizell?
Some sweet rose wine.
Ooh.
Mmm.
Ooh. Fancy.
We all doing red. I got me a red wine too. I added a little.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, what you sipping on? Is you sipping on anything?
So I do not support drinking and driving.
Okay, good. Good. But I saw a cup.
With a whole cup full of gin.
But I saw a cup though. Is that okay? Well, we're just going to assume that that's not an alcoholic beverage.
To the contents in the cup.
Are you sipping on? Oh, that is you a no. What are you sipping on, Nate?
Yogurt.
Yeah, some yogurt.
Mm-hmm. You like it creamy. Okay.
Mom. Mom.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's been a lot going on since I have been away. Did anyone get an opportunity to look at Judas and the Black Messiah?
Not
I
yet.
still haven't seen it yet. That's
Not
my
yet.
project for the weekend.
I watched it this past weekend. I really liked it. I only had one critique for it, but I think it was a great movie.
What was your critique?
I think they should have used younger actors. I think that it would have helped frame the story differently.
Yeah.
You have actors who are well into their 30s, and there's a thought process in your 30s that exists that doesn't exist when you're, the Judas character, he was 17, 18 when he did all of that, when COINTELPRO literally manipulated him. And I think that it was, when you have an actor who is, around my age, which is 36, then it takes away from what really happened.
It takes the weight of it all.
Yeah.
If you watch the Binge Worthy podcast, we talked about that also. But that was my only gripe too. But I see that in a lot of biopics, and I understand good black don't crack, but we know the age of these characters, so our mind goes to that point, and it's very little reference to people's ages and things. But the fact that the actual guy who played the Judas character actually ended up killing himself later in his life after talking about it for the first time publicly. And I think people don't understand. He was still pretty young. He was like, I think in his early 40s.
He was 40. He had just turned 40 in 1990 when he killed himself.
And compared to him
he did the Eyes on the Prize documentary, and it aired on Martin Luther King Day. He killed himself that next day.
Yep. And I think people don't, and I think what happens is you working with children legally in Hollywood or in movies and such, they can't work but so many hours. So they started using older actors to compensate for that. But it takes away, like Jonathan said, the weight of a 17-year-old making a decision with the FBI versus what looks like a 30-some-year-old making a decision.
But also the weight of Fred Hampton, who was only 21, and how dynamic he was at only 21.
He was 20.
I mean, and when he was killed, I think it was said 21.
Yeah, he was 21 when he was killed.
Right, and so that means he was younger when he started, and also that this happened. Was murdered the year after Martin Luther King was murdered. You know, they kind of they didn't really tell you exactly when it was. Then you figure, oh wait, it was 1969. But you know, this was right after King had been murdered. This was right after the riot. There was a lot going on. But I do think they told a great story, a story that needed to be told.
Right.
But there's an interview with his fiance, whose name I can't remember because I want to call her by the name that she changed it, not her old name. But she said that when she was going to the funeral of the man the Judas, whose name I also can't remember, but the Judas, that she wanted to spit in his coffin. And I get, because you know this man was killed. The love of her life was murdered right next to her while she's pregnant.
Right.
And she said that when she saw him in the casket, she said she didn't believe it was him. I think it also speaks to a lot of the fact that she had gotten older, he had gotten older, and the image that she still had in her head was this 18-year-old boy, and now there was this grown man who was playing there who committed suicide.
Yeah. But the crazy part, many of the people around Fred Hampton suspected him of some funny acts, but Hampton never would believe it. He's the one who brought him into that circle and just believed in him. And what was crazy, if they had really played up his age, I think the sympathy for him would have been much more, and it just you wouldn't have treated him as a Judas in that moment, because he was a 17-year-old, and then they dangled this brand new spanking car in his face to kind of seal the deal, and he thought they were just shutting down the Panthers. He had no idea that they were trying to kill him and kill off the Panthers, which
and I think the thing about why I love they call the Jews, especially with Hoover having the whole thing of the Black Messiah that was going to come, because if you really read about Judas, he thought that he was helping.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he thought, oh, I get to make some money as well.
Right.
And then he killed himself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
When he saw what it did. And there's always been a parallel in this with Martin Luther King as well as Malcolm X. But with Martin Luther King, and I'm not saying this. This is not me personally saying this. I want to make sure that is clear. If you need, go and watch the documentaries where the people who were closest to King said that they felt Jesse Jackson was kind of the same way.
Well, we can see that.
Well, that ain't the first time I heard that one.
No, not at all. But I want to make sure clear that I want nobody to say, well, Jonathan said, no, Jonathan is repeating with the people who were the closest.
I know that's right. You better make it plain.
What they say that Portia Williams' grandfather, Hosea Williams, who was on the balcony with King when he was shot, with Reverend Ralph Abernathy and everyone else, when he discussed the fact that Jesse Jackson went to Chicago, covered in the blood, and gave a press conference. He didn't understand how he got covered in blood because he said he was nowhere near King. So he said unless he went and rubbed his shirt on it, then he said then he went to the room and started talking about, well, I'm the next king. You told me I was going to be the next him. And then they also talk about Ralph Abernathy talked about the fact that when it happened, he ducked before anyone else did. Before the shot even went off, he ducked.
Mm-hmm. And what's the other guy that they got caught up, and he was like, where he kind of basically was like implied that he knew it was coming. I can't remember the guy, but they did an interview, or he was talking about the situation with the Dr. King's murder, and he was talking about how, like, pretty much like, his story didn't add up. It was almost like he knew it was coming, and they ducked before it was actually shot. It was I can't remember the guy's name, but I'll find out and I'll pull it up.
But, but I think that it's always been that they've always planted people in these situations, and it's always hard to find out who that person is. Even with Malcolm X, Hoover finagled even that with the Nation of Islam, with the help. That is also documented information. I am not personally saying that. I am saying FBI information that has been written about and that people have already mutually agreed on.
Well, it was a couple members of his security detail that actually fired the shots, allegedly. But
most of the time when it's stuff, they always send somebody that looks like you to get rid of you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because
and I think that was the part that really stood out to me. I get what you're saying in terms of the age and how it would have been. You would get a kind of good understanding of why he would have done what he did if they would have had someone that was around the age of the individuals involved.
Young.
Yeah, because he was young. And this was a time frame, mind you, like you were saying, Jonathan, this was a time frame when Black people were up in, it was a lot going on. It was chaotic. But what I wanted to, what stood out to me was the extent, like the extreme, what white people would do to stop Black progress.
Oh boy.
And that's what stood out to me. When in the beginning, when they just prefaced this, like the greatest threat was the Black Panther Party.
Well, it's still like that today.
Exactly.
It's the same way today. The thing is, they don't like, and I'm not gonna say all of them because you can't put everybody in the same category. A lot of them feel like if we make any progress, then they're pretty much done.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's where the fear and stuff come from. And then, you gotta look at just how we are portrayed, period. Through the media and different things. So, they scared that, we're going to get in power and do the same thing to them that they did to us. Most Black people don't want revenge. We just want to be left the hell alone and let us do what we do.
True story.
And even what you're saying right now, like that's what hurts me now when I see corrupt Black people who are on their side. For so long, all we wanted was equal rights.
That's it.
Oh, and we were the system and treated the worst, and it really hurts my feeling to see individuals who are knowingly working against us and are acting as doorkeepers that look like us. It really hurts me to see that because we've been kind of pushed away and treated so badly for so long. So to have our own now, and not now, because we clearly can see throughout time, it was us that was being paid off to kill us. So it really was. So that movie was hurtful to hear the story, but the circumstances.
It was more than hurtful. It was more. Let me tell you something. My blood boiled for several days after that, and I really had to check in with myself just to be like, okay, you really have to. You don't go to work this upset because you're going zap out on the wrong. Look, I was ready, and what was really like everything about that movie, we see it now. We're seeing everything. The police, with their mishandling of individuals that they stopped and, killing Black people. We see all of the stuff that they were dealing with then. We see it now.
I think
And that's what were you saying, Mr. Gilmore?
Oh no, I want you to go ahead and finish. I'll come back and finish.
Oh, it just made me want to just yeah. I need my flamethrower. That's all I want for Christmas. I just need a flamethrower. So if there's anybody out there that knows about putting together the mechanics of a flamethrower,
all you need is some damn some aqua. What was it? Aqua. What was that? Aquanet hairspray.
Oh Lord.
no, I need something that's going to propel at least 12 feet in front of me. I want to set your ass on fire from up the street down the street. I'm trying to take out a neighborhood. I don't want to get close. I just want I need.
You gotta get in touch with your chi. You know, they like your chi energy.
I was meditating and everything. I had to sage myself. I had to meditate because that movie took me there. Now it's been other movies. Has there been any other movies that y'all seen that's actually taking you there?
Any movie.
I just want to add one point to this.
Go ahead.
I want everybody to make sure, especially if you are Black, please go and look up COINTELPRO. One of the major things I think that has been an annoyance of mine within our community is the information that we get and then the information that we latch on to and pass around.
Yeah.
Where we are very quick to attach ourselves to something that is not true and then won't believe the actual truth.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Lynch was not a true letter. While, yes, it is based off of true shit, it was not real.
Right.
But COINTELPRO was very real, and you had about 3 or 4 Black people that actually know what it was, and that it systematically got rid of and murdered Black people for years.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's
sanctioned murder, and it is very important that I think, especially have the internet, where we getting Brother Hotep who's just spouting off random shit. But he doesn't really know. And then there may be a Black woman who actually works in the field who does know, and she's really trying to give you the truth. But we won't attach ourselves to that. So we do have to start vetting information. We have to start really digging into the real truth and not what we feel sounds good. Because sometimes when you're like, go to war.
Because a lot of times.
Hold on, let me finish. So when you say, let me finish. When you say that you're going to war over fluoride and you're talking about this mind control, but you're not talking about the fact they actually are using it in social media and in commercials and in TV and in phone practices, but you want to do the fantastical shit instead of the real shit, then that I actually have a problem with that. When they are using people in social media to come at and combat ideas because they know that ideas will catch on and shit like that. Those are problems. I don't want to talk about fucking fluoride, niggas. I want to talk about the real shit that's happening. But that's my piece. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He said, and I digress.
Hey, Cable.
I think
we were talking.
His elbow on and shit. You know how you
if you're just tuning in, this is the Kocktail Social. We're on Be Exposed Radio. The conversation at the moment is talking about Judas and the Black Messiah. We were just discussing that movie that came out last week. Am I correct?
Last week.
It was last week, and how it set my soul on fire. It was talking about Frank Hampton and the Black Panthers and COINTELPRO.
COINTELPRO in the Black community.
Which is a major thing. And you raised a very good point, Mr. Gilmore. You're absolutely right. A lot of times what happens is that we get individuals and they don't know that the narrative can be construed. So people who tell the story, you have to be very mindful of the source because by the time it trickles down to us, it's been through filters, and some of the information that we need to have is left out conveniently. And that narrative can determine how you respond. And that's what's been happening. That's why I said it really set my soul on fire when I really watched this, and it made me think about all of the movies that I've watched over my time, over my lifetime, which has only been a good 20 years. That has set my soul on fire, Miss K. I'm only 20. What are you looking at me like that for?
And you know, however many anniversaries you choose to celebrate.
Has there been any movies such as this movie that has set your soul ablaze?
I
After watching it,
I didn't watch, but like the whole root story. A lot of people get up in arms about that, but then I've even heard with that where that story wasn't true. It was taken from what's the name of that book? Wait a minute. I forget the name of the book, but the guy that wrote it was sued for like plagiarism with that whole root story. I can't think of the name of the book. I'm really sure.
You mean Alex Haley?
Yeah, but it was another author that sued him for plagiarism for the whole root story. Let me look it up real quick. See if his name.
When I hear stuff like that, it's crazy because it's a universal story. Many people have shared that story.
Right.
I'm a big on biopics. Like I
it
love
was Jubilee,
biopics.
myself.
Jubilee.
Yeah.
It normally gives us a introduction into like people's stories. But I remember Ghost of Mississippi made me have that same visceral reaction when it came out. And I was upset, one, because the story centered around the lawyer versus, the actual person the biopic was about.
Right.
A lot of those stories, the Arkansas Nine, it just, these movies kill me because, one, we're not getting this history in any other platform at home or in schools. And we just don't know the contribution that we've had to pulling this country to where it is. So for us to, not see the significance of Obama or Harris, Vice President Harris, like to see these, the significance of this, not just because they're Black, but because they're Black and been in these positions, and the many people that have come behind them. I think they're about to do the Shirley Chisholm story. So we about to see all of that she went through to even lose at a certain point. But I think every biopic that is historically based, not just for entertainment, has the same gut punch to people of color, and hopefully to all of color.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a movie that I saw recently. It's not really a biopic, but it was just Antebellum. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but
I saw it.
I just saw that maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I posted on Facebook. That movie made me extremely mad at the point that this could possibly be a true thing happening. I like just looking at how they hid the place where they made these fake plantations to rebrand slavery and kidnap Black people. They kidnapped Black people. Janelle Monáe's character. They kidnapped all them. They have this undisclosed place where it's set up like a plantation where they keep the slave. They was picking cotton and for no reason because they were burning the cotton they were picking. They just wanted to recreate slavery to white people, and they kidnapped Black people. And they hid behind, if anyone gonna see the movie, I wouldn't tell them. I already said too much, but they hid behind a gun range where white people went and shot rangers. So when they shot their guns, you couldn't tell. And then at night, they had everyone go to bed at a certain time because then if they did do stuff, everyone could hear it. It was like, the storyline to me was like great, but I was pissed at and a little fearful of the fact like this could possibly, given how white people are today, is something that I wouldn't put past them.
Well, people still reenact in that way, and they're antebellum parties. And those parties to the day they dress their weddings up in antebellum and they don't see the problem. And I can't remember what what I think on The Bachelor, one of the young ladies was discovered that she and her sorority had an antebellum party, and the host of that show has been suspended because he didn't see the problem with her having an antebellum party, and the fact that you called it an antebellum party, meaning you were trying to recreate that moment. There were no black people invited because there as a party goer, they probably were the wait staff, but nope.
I saw
Rihanna. I want to say hello to we have a visitor, Rihanna. She had a comment. She said that she was saying that her husband watched the Jimi Hendrix movie, hey man, and he was upset with how they portrayed Jimi Hendrix, how they focused more on him being addicted to drugs and alcohol versus his huge contribution to the music culture.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's usually what happens is that, and you see that even how in the media, social media, on the news, when they're portraying a black person and they describe them, they talk about all of the things other than, they'll talk about, look at Whitney Houston. They never talk about all of her accomplishments. They talk all about what she was addicted to. Now, mind you, this woman has done so many things in the music. I mean, she was phenomenal. I mean, to the point where Clive Davis just was like, look, that was my golden voice right there. And they have nothing to say about her. All they focus on is the fact that she was addicted to a substance. They do that with a lot of artists. They do that with a lot of artists.
You gotta crash Madonna. Talk about how Madonna and all the drugs that she used. But they
don't.
But they don't.
Not because
and Madonna is not even a real singer.
It's still a white supremacy system. So we can't expect them.
Wait a minute, did someone just say Madonna's not a real singer?
She's not a real singer. She's an amazing. No, she's an amazing entertainer. Nobody can take away her entertainment prowess.
Madonna in her prime, when she did Evita, all that stuff, Madonna is a singer. Now she ain't doing too much singing, but Madonna can sing. I can't take that away from her. I will not do that.
But I cannot. You cannot put her next to Whitney.
No, I can't say she's not.
You can't put her next to Whitney.
Hold on.
But
when you talk about Evita, though, go watch.
I can't hear.
Go watch.
Wait a minute. This is what I want to say about, and that's where the thing goes wrong with singing, because singing come in different octaves and different vocal levels. Everyone that sing high is not the best singers. Madonna's a singer for her vocal tones, and I'm not going to say she can't sing. People said that about me for years about my voice because I couldn't sing high tenor. Oh, you're not that great of a singer because you can't sing high tenor. Like, fuck you.
Oh, wait a minute.
This is my vocal.
I am not partial.
I would never put Madonna against Whitney Houston. You put Madonna against Whitney Houston, that's stupid. But you put Madonna against people that fit, like Ashanti and J-Lo. You don't put her against Whitney.
Right.
You're saying put her up against weaker vocalists, though, is what you're still saying.
No, I was being funny when I said Ashanti.
Because I let you finish on that one. I'm not talking was about anything other than vocal range or any of that thing.
Yeah,
the bitch can't sing. The motherfucker has stole everything that she does. If black culture does it, then she done dance her ass across the stage in it.
Who, J-Lo?
No, fuck her. I'm talking about Madonna. Some motherfucking J-Lo. The biggest lie I ever told was that J-Lo's ass was big. Bullshit.
Can we pause?
Wow now, how, said the brown cow.
I just want to tell my movie.
They trying to say something.
Go ahead, Nate.
Recently watched the inauguration. I didn't get a chance to watch it through. Anybody, whoever pumps a J-Lo anything, I want you to just jump off a bridge.
Well, I pumped J-Lo, and I ain't jumping off a bridge. I love J-Lo. Listen, if you like your artist,
you love J-Lo's music,
I don't
love her vocal.
I don't go to J-Lo for singing. I go to J-Lo for what J-Lo offers. Now, if you're looking for singing, you're going to J-Lo, then no, you should jump off a bridge. We don't go to J-Lo for singing. I go to J-Lo because J-Lo has some good songs. She got something that's going to make me dance and shake and have a good time. And that's what I go to J-Lo for. Everyone isn't for that. Like, I don't want to hear Patti LaBelle in my ear 24/7. I can't hear Patti. I don't like a lot of high vocal singers. I'm not a soprano lover. I'm not a big diva lover. I don't like those type of singers.
But the conversation isn't about that. It's can the bitch sing. That's what the fuck we're talking about. Not if they can do swoops and turns,
but
and if they can sing.
They can sing, but what they
without auto-tune,
that's
without
unfair.
any special tricks, without Ashanti singing with her, King's the big
very biased. It's a
like
bias.
a virgin.
Just say that she's not playing, but to say she can sing is not fair. That's not.
But what I was saying, so before we even got about who can sing and who couldn't, we was talking about their portrayals when they're doing these documentaries and what they focus on.
Well, you know what?
Sorry.
And so Karen was saying, and Miss K was saying, I'm sorry, that we was talking about the portrayal of Whitney Houston versus the portrayal of some other artists, and you mentioned Madonna, but what we were saying is even with Madonna, they don't portray her in a negative light.
No, they don't.
That's not
at all. No, but either way,
they Madonna during the early 80s was you could look at her like a Lady Gaga. They looked at her as a trendsetter. They looked at her as pushing the envelope for an artist. As an artist, when she was doing all of that, Justify My Love,
yeah, she
like
was
Virgin,
cone titties and all that. It was all
they
avant
were actually
garde.
celebrating her for that.
But now
Because
our ladies do it, and now it's trashy.
She got from the black community. I'm going back.
What? When she was all that stuff that she did that they said was all avant garde, she took out of the black ballrooms. She took out of the black Vogue scene. She took out of the ballroom, and it made her amazing. It made her avant garde. It made her a trendsetter. But now our girls. But now you have our thick-eyed, body positive ladies out here. They twerking. They doing everything that is culturally us, ancestrally culturally us, and we're trashy.
Again, you cannot win in a white supremacist system.
At all.
But we're winning and we're losing at the same time, because the very things that are culturally ours, then you see young white girls trying to do the same thing.
But that's what they've always done. They ain't changed their stripes. That's the same motherfucker from back in the day. They ain't changed none of their damn stripes. We still expecting them to do some different shit that they've been doing, and they not gonna fucking do it. Period.
I think the difference is. I think the fucking difference is that what Karen is trying to say is that now we are doing a better job of holding them fucking accountable for doing it.
Exactly, as we should.
Before was one of the things. Before, as you said, that it was the same. It was like the same thing, and we saw it happen time and time again. But now a lot of us are like, nah, fuck that. We gonna call it what it is. She got that from me. But I'm all for musician inspiration. But when you completely ignore the group of people that you got it from, it's wrong. I don't give a fuck if Beyonce do it, if Madonna do it. It's fucking wrong. And Madonna's been doing it for a whole lot of years now.
Yep.
Well,
she ain't the only one, but she's not the only one. But we're not going to talk. Look, we could go on and on about music. And then we can go on, but I do appreciate that conversation. We have some cocktail questions. Now, first, let me acknowledge the guests in the room. Hey, Brianna. Hey, Candace. We got some old flicks. Hey, Brandon. Hey, everybody. If y'all have any questions, by all means, post them. I will definitely answer them. Her movie.
Oh, my movie was American Son with Kerry Washington. It's where she is the black wife of a white man, and they have a son who is out with his friends one night, and hey, Tula, and his son, they let the son go out, and long story short, the son ends up being killed by the police, but the police won't tell the mother anything because they're divorced, and it just shows how differently the police treat her when she's by herself.
Was that with Regina King?
No, it was Kerry Washington.
That's right. That's right. Oh my!
How differently they treat her before the ex-husband gets there versus how they treat her once he does get there, and how they talk to him versus how they talk to her, and the dissemination of information, the whole thing. But it just pissed me off, just on the content, all of it. I'm sorry. It just made me mad all over again. I can never watch that show again. Because I'm the mother of a black son. Happy birthday, guys. I love you. Anyway, I'm the mother of a black son. It's real out here in these streets because they're killing black boys and black men in the street every day over dumb stuff like cigarettes.
Brianna says she was mad at Samuel Jackson for a long time over his role in Django.
Man,
let me tell you something.
That shit was funny as hell.
He was Uncle Ruckus come to life.
He played
yes, he was.
Out of that role.
He definitely did, because he was that when they killed him, I was cheering for him.
Yeah, it was like, he was one of them characters. We was like, I can't wait till he get his.
I can't wait, honey. Yeah, I was happy.
Ruckus come to life.
He definitely was Uncle Ruckus. Definitely was Uncle Ruckus. Any more movies that set your soul ablaze?
I just recently watched A Time to Kill Again.
I love that movie.
With Samuel Jackson, he killed the 2 white guys for raping his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I do it, and I do it
one.
again.
He said, "Yes, I deserve. That they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell." Like,
well,
that was another one, like Nate said, where they focused on the lawyer and not the person that they were defending.
Characters. One movie for me is actually 2. One is Fruitvale Station.
God, I almost hit you.
I've never been able to watch that movie. I've only seen the trailer, and still cannot bring myself to watch the actual movie. And I just think it's just the subject matter, and it was around Freddie Gray.
Don't do it.
I couldn't bring myself to do
I
it.
like watching stuff like that.
Don't do it. I can't. I
know you know it's educational to a certain extent.
It's not.
When you're a part of the black community, you get tired of hearing those stories. You know, it kind of gives you this hopeless feeling that nothing's going to change. You know what I mean?
That's why they keep creating these stories to keep our mentality down.
That's why I don't watch.
It's demoralizing and traumatizing.
Yes, I'm tired of seeing this. It's almost like a reminder of who you are. Don't forget who you are.
Don't forget you're a slave.
And I don't like that. And that's just how I feel about it.
I think the exact, because many of these films were written by or inspired by a story from an actual black person. So I think why they keep happening is because every generation is repeating the same level of ignorance that the last generation had. So we have to keep telling these stories. We don't tell Jewish people stop telling Holocaust.
That's the damn truth.
They made the movie about it.
Exactly. And I think,
well, if you're gonna tell them, let it be accurately told. Like, what's that one? Let it be accurately told. Don't be telling it from a white man's point of view to lift them up to make it seem like they're not the blue-eyed devil that they were in these movies. Like that one movie that got all those awards, and it was a total lie. I can't think of it. Where the white guy came out to be the hero, but he was really, oh God, what was that movie? I think it came out the same time that Moonlight or Moon, whatever that movie is.
Are you talking about the Green Book?
The Green Book, because I was going to say the Notebook, but yes, the Green Book. Like that, the totally said that was totally not. That was false information. And look at the movie about the little football player. He even said the one was Sandra Bullock. Like he even said that story was false. Like, stop making this narrative to paint these white people as good. They weren't.
Social media, because many of these stories are being made for entertainment purposes.
Exactly.
We can swallow them a little bit better. And it's not always that they are false stories, but normally things are omitted or things are left out because it's about a bottom line and it's about dollars and cents. Often these stories are coming from a for real place. What especially these biopics, what it should inspire you to do is to go research that person so you can find out the whole story, not the false story, but the whole story.
Yeah, and then you got to look at and movies. You only have a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
you got to leave stuff in and leave some stuff out. to make the movie good. There's a lot of stuff that is not going to be covered. It's just just not.
But when you change,
I haven't seen Judah and the Messiah yet, but I'm pretty sure they didn't cover everything that happened within the Black Panther movie.
They covered a lot of it, though.
Movie, I'm sure they did, but
they got it close. They left out a lot, but they got it close enough for you to get the gist. And you're right.
I feel like if people will sit through a 2.5 hour long Lord of the Rings movie, why can't they sit through something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think the question is, why can't Black people?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
watch Lord of the Rings. I'm one of them.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that if they're willing to look at, if they're able to look at Lord of the Rings for 2 or 3 hours, why can't they look at something like that? Now I get it. I think for a lot of it.
No, hold on. Really comparing Lord of the Rings with Slave? Come on. You gotta think about the types of movies you're talking about. You're talking about Lord of the Rings that's full of magic and adventure. Of course you're gonna sit through that. I don't like Lord of the Rings, but you gotta be realistic. You can't put Lord of the Rings against a slave movie. That's like you're trying to
Christ.
It's like you can't do that.
Passion of the Christ. Certain movies are traumatic, but people are sat through them. Passion of the Christ, Schindler's List. There are movies that have been hours long.
Let's go to those movies to compare. Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I get your point. I feel you. My bad. He said, I feel you.
Yeah, people now you want to go there. Schindler's List was boring as shit to me. Now I did love The Notebook, but I couldn't sit through Schindler's List. So like that movie was. Now I didn't sit through Roots. because it was a little traumatized for me looking at that constantly, and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot sit and watch a series of Black people getting beat and traumatized by white people. Like
right.
I just
because the point
that's too much.
Why they're watering down our stories. That's
too much.
Commercializing our true history stories for Black people. That's why they're doing it. Because a person, I'm not saying you, but the spectator, the people that they do the focus groups with, I'm tired of hearing slave stories. So they make them funny. They make them gory like a Quentin Tarantino. They make them bigger like folklore because it allows people to take the story better or easier. But that's why our stories look so comical because we can't sit down. And these are the same people who have that argument are the same people who blame the school system for not teaching their children, but you don't want to sit through a movie that's going to give you an introduction that history was like we can't have it both ways.
And I think and I also believe that the conversation is needed. I get that it's traumatizing. I get that it can be jarring, but the conversation is needed because of the fact that you're seeing it repeat itself. And the fact of the matter,
that's why I'm going there. At one point, does it become exhausting? So now you got me living this life now in the present where I'm dealing with this stuff. And now then when I go in my house where it's supposed to be or go out to enjoy myself and bam, I got movies reminding me. So it's like, where do I get a free space from all this? Like,
well, you get a free space when you learn. The cycle repeats itself and you learn. And I think the reason that is happening is because no one's learning. Like no one's teaching the younger generations of these things that have happened. They're not getting this information.
Yeah, but also I think there's a comment being made in the chat, and that is that basically we also have to make sure that these things are being vetted for the truth. Brianna was saying that in a Jimi Hendrix movie, one of Jimmy's girlfriends said in an interview that she offered to give them the story and nobody contacted her. And so there's this scene where Jimmy is supposed to be beating her up in the bar and she said that he never hit her. And so that's just like the rape scene, I think, and What's Love Got to Do with It? It's
my God,
that never occurred. And so they sometimes will insert things to sensationalize movies. And like Jonathan said, we take it for fact because it's up here on this big screen. It's supposedly a biopic. So it's like, how do we control the narrative that's being told about these icons in our lives?
I have Black directors.
You want to support Black media. I mean,
you research.
start having black directors to direct these movies and not these white people that's looking for a coin to uplift their community and to make themselves shine in these movies and take away from the evil shit that they were doing. And that's what they do in a lot of these movies. So when I see a white director directing a black flick, I'm like, how the fuck can you even relate? How can you even put pen to paper to write down anything a black person been through, and when you're not really digging to get the real stories, and when basically then the base of your story is to cover the white man's ass to make him look good and glorify him. At the same time, we like black people. Look, we are helping them out in this story too. At the same time, showcase that you're slaves, but we're still good people. Like, no, that's why I don't watch. That's why I don't watch the movies. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to see none of that.
And stop talking about them. Stop supporting them. Stop uplifting them. Stop going to watch Lord of the Rings. And you
gotta support black media.
I do support black media, but look at Tyler Perry. There ain't much to support. I'm sorry, his movies be trash.
Well, no, you can't say trash because you got a whole audience of people.
They do. Let's be real. Movies be horrible. I'm so sad that one movie was her last movie, like one of her last movies before she died. Cicely Tyson. That movie was terrible.
So it was still ours.
It's horrible.
But it was ours.
But horrible, why?
You saying that was
acting? Listen, the acting, the production was terrible.
The acting is a little. Acting is a little play.
I'm glad people to stop being lazy when they get into these positions. They get a little lazy. If you're gonna get into the position to be a producer, then you need to do exactly what these same producers are doing. Take your time to do a movie. Get other people. Tyler Perry. Don't do that. He rushes the movie, gets the script, and we take it. No, we can't. No, it's unacceptable.
How many black filmmakers?
Wait a minute, you sound like a transformer.
Right.
How many gave her a job though, Harris? How many of those black filmmakers? How many black filmmakers gave Cicely Tyson a job in the last?
This on How to Get Away with Murder. She was doing very well.
But that was a white person that gave her that job.
Who?
That wasn't a black.
Who? Did Shonda Rhimes write that movie? Did she write that show?
Rhimes didn't hire Cicely Tyson. That white production company did.
Well, she still had a job.
So companies are giving black Cicely Tyson. I'll wait for the numbers, but none. It's sad that when she died, most of the people in our age group couldn't name but one movie that she was in. Like that's sad to me. But we bash each other for doing what we can for each other. I'm not a fan of Tyler Perry.
That's what I thought. Shonda Rhimes is the one that hired Cicely Tyson for that show. Yes, she was.
No, Peter Norwalk.
She was the one that got her on that show.
Peter Norwalk.
No, his name is Peter Norwalk.
Right.
Who got her on the show? Shonda Rhimes is the one that got her on that show. He may have been right the checks and shit, but that was her request to put her on that show.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody fact checked it.
I'm doing it now.
Thank you. And we can, we can come back to that. So we're gonna circle back around to that. But I get what you're saying. I think that even though we might not like the art form of the individuals, if it's black owned, or we need to, it's our responsibility. If there's something wrong with it, we need to correct it. So even with Tyler Perry, I support Tyler Perry. Now, I might not necessarily agree with the way it's always presented, but I support. If I have an issue with it, my duty as a person of color is to contact them and let them know what it is that I think should be corrected, or why do I feel this way. So that's how we uplift one another. A lot of times we are quick to tear each other down, but what helps us out is if we educate on what we need to improve. That's how you become the best. You know, you get someone to tell you that, okay, this is what you need to do in order to get from point A to point B, where you can improve this, that, and the other. But we're quick to tear each other down. And that's what they capitalize off of, is the fact that they can split us and put us against one another so easily.
And see, I want to clip this one day about Tyler Perry, but I admire Tyler Perry for all that he has done, his story and everything. I followed his story. I even watched the show. That's how I know she was in it. I watched the movie. As much as I disliked the production and everything, I liked it. My issue with Tyler Perry and a lot of and some Black people, not all, is that when we get in these places where we make a lot of money, we start giving the Black people scraps. He made too much money to give us that type of low budget money. We have given his pockets too much money for us to get that as a movie from him. No, at this time, you should be putting on high production stuff. Take your time in doing it. Don't just throw movies out there to keep filling your pockets and we just supposed to accept scraps. And that's all I'm saying, is that production was not right. And you made too much money. We done went through every
But he need to know that.
It's too much.
And I'm on plays and stuff. So you gotta think, like, when he started off with the plays, I don't think he was really expecting to get into movies. And then so when those plays were turned into movies, he was using some of those same actors that were doing plays. Now, we've all seen plays versus movies on how the difference of the difference in acting is. You know what I mean? Like, even when he came, what was the one show that came on TV? It was like a sitcom. The acting was horrible. It was delays and like the response, like somebody might say something and then it was like a 3-second delay and then they would respond. It didn't come off fluent, natural, within the show. I mean, he still was giving these Black actors jobs, and as you can see, over time it did improve. But you got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? Like Blue said, it's like, okay, if there's certain things that he's doing that you don't necessarily agree with, then just write them and see what happens. You know what I mean? But he was still giving those Black actors jobs, no matter how bad the acting was, because some of that shit was bad. But he was giving them jobs. I mean.
Yeah. That's just like with the whole thing of what was that movie, Fall from Grace, and everybody was picking him apart for the wigs in the production. Ooh. And his response to that, because everybody agrees those wigs were horrific. He does not deny that the wigs were horrific, but what his thing was there are not many people of color in the industry right now who deal with hair and things like that. And this movie was his opportunity to give those who do not get those opportunities their first opportunities. And so it wasn't great because it was their first opportunity. And as long as he at least gets their foot in the door, they can add this to their resume and it gives them more opportunities. So it doesn't matter as long as he was able to say, I was able to give them their opportunity. So
that's the
line of the ones that he had to pick from.
So you know what I want to say? We have comments. Brianna said that Taraji P. Henson said Tyler Perry was the first person to pay her what she was worth. Michelle, also known as Shell, stated that it's now time to hire people of color who do movies with the money he made. He can still do his plays, but calling the experts now. So basically what she's saying is calling to quality players. So what she's saying, no one's disagreeing. But what I'm saying is that we have to hold up our own. We have to correct. We have to step in when we see something wrong with our own. We have to, instead of tearing them down, provide them with information that lifts them up. That's the difference between a critique and a criticism. Because out of a critique, you learn something. You get some information that, if you receive it right, it builds.
Okay. If you follow me on Twitter or everything I just said, and I said it in a nicer way, of course, but I already indicated this, like, Tyler, what are you doing? Like, I'll always critique on Twitter. I'll not critique, but I like to give people, I like to give people what I think about it. Like, I just feel like, stop dissing the Black people. I get it that he's doing all these great things that y'all saying, and I'm not knocking that.
But what's your solution?
Put the money, exactly what the girl says, what I'm saying, he's still the big wig. You hire these people to bring them more money, and that's going to take the time to actually put in the work to get these productions 100% and stop getting those lackluster production, because it's going to be noticed, it's going to be talked about, and it's not good to be talked about in that light, because it's why would you want that type of background? Like, get these real people in here, have someone in here. Yes, I get. Do you want new makeup artists and hairstylists? That's fine. Bring them in. There's nothing wrong with that. But have a moderator, have someone that's going to be there, a mentor that's going to guide them as they try to put people together. Then you got to do the right steps. There's nothing wrong with that. But you make too much money. You got too much money now. You have a whole production studio down there. Like, it's no reason.
Tula states that Tula states that at this point she doesn't like Tyler Perry because his art has not evolved in any significant way after all of these years, and the fact that he has no writer's room is ridiculous. I can see that. I can definitely see that.
But they still watching his movies though.
Well, I think what she's saying is that he's still, the way he's writing and the way his production is similar to the way it was when he first started out. So she's looking for
a movie writer.
I have been a person that criticized Tyler Perry a lot, but in the same breath, I always give him his kudos for sticking to it. As a person who have directed plays, that has taken my rent money and paid for venues and paid last to my craft in every way possible, who have constantly done free shows for my Black theater companies consistently. You don't know, and we don't know rather, what it really takes for somebody to continue to move forward. As a Black person who has been in that space, I'm not where Tyler Perry is at this moment, but I've done the same thing. I've used my rent money to pay people and pay for venues and equipment. But the audience, you have a special part in this as well, to continue to support these individuals. Give them, they read their Facebook pages. They read the comments. Somebody is reading it. Somebody is filtering it through, because if it's enough voices, they're going to hear it. If it's a big enough push, they're going to hear it. But to continue to bash these people for false information that the industry and unions put out about somebody like a Tyler Perry it's irresponsible. Because instead of him paying people union wages, instead of him buying, and that's why he's never won an award for any of his shows, because he didn't join any of the unions that require their actors to get paid less than what he was paying these actors for often first-time roles. And not only did Roger B. Henson say it, but Cicely Tyson also said he got a week for some of her biggest movies, and he tripled that in paying her for every role that she did for him. So I think understanding where he put his money may not have been always the best place, but he sometimes paid actors more than what they've ever gotten paid for anything that they're doing, especially theater actors. Black theater actors get paid less than anybody, unless they are coming from a Will Smith or Denzel Washington space. That's when they get paid a little bit more, because they have a notoriety behind their name. But right now, we have to stop bashing each other and learn how to support each other in a space where we're being constructive in our criticism and not just throwing darts at people who you don't support them anyway. You haven't supported them. You bootleg most of the people that complain bootleg his movies. Yeah. So you haven't given him any money to hire a real professional experience makeup artist.
They done 5-finger discounted all of it. No wonder he ain't had no budget. That's a slap to you. Y'all know y'all seen that from the damn man on the corner and that burnt DVD. Y'all knew damn well y'all was seeing them plays out there and from that burned DVD man.
That shit come on and the camera be like this and shit.
Right. You see people walking across it. Like, we gotta just
him adjusting the lens. Like, what the hell?
But I get it, but we gotta do better. It's like this month, I hated hearing anything negative about anything that we did, because instead of you focusing on stuff that you didn't like, let's look at the stuff you do like. That's why the stuff you like go out of business, because you spent all your emotional time and all your social capital on stuff that you don't like. Like, just do better, Black people.
So with that being said, let's get into a question that was
question.
No, that's where I was supposed to go. This is the Kocktail Social. We on Be Exposed Radio. We have adult conversation about what the fuck we want to talk about. I just have questions to guide the dialogue. But for real, we just go with the flow. And let me tell you, if I get any more, this is my second cup of red wine. But if I get any more of this in me,
it's going down.
Going down.
All the way down.
You hear that pitch? It's going Dong. Did y'all hear that note? Did y'all hear it? That's where it's going at. If I get one more of these red wines in me. So it was a question that I think is a very good one. What is it? Russell Wilson. Is that the football player that is with Sierra?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He is with
He
is with the Atlanta Seahawks.
Yes, look at him knowing a little football. Look at him.
He's with the Seattle Seahawks.
Looked it up, child.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. You see me though.
It's the Seattle Seahawks.
Hold on. I knew it was the Seahawks. I just didn't know which Seahawks they were. I just know it was the Seahawks, though. It's the Seattle Seahawks. Thank you, Mr. Gilmore, for correcting me. So tell me about that. You said something. The conversation was about him being a simp for his statement of him fearing losing Sierra.
Yes.
That was what they were saying.
Russell Wilson recently said in an interview that one of his biggest fears is losing Sierra, and an overwhelming population of motherfuckers feel that he is a simp because he is just too on his wife.
That's his fucking wife. He's supposed to be on his goddamn wife. That's what's wrong with half these motherfuckers out here. They ain't on their wife enough.
Also, I think it's just goes to show envy. I think
Karen, your gumbo on the porch, honey.
What?
I had some jambalaya I had made. I put that on top of that jambalaya, honey.
Oh Lord, y'all talking about food? What is going on?
I love jambalaya.
Who delivering food?
Who made jambalaya?
Fucking Johnny Eats.
Johnny Eats. So y'all was saying that Russell Wilson is too on Sierra. He's too. It looks like he's pressed. Is that what they're saying?
They call
it's on. I mean, this shit's been going on for a while. After Sierra and Future broke up.
Somebody got music on. Wait, somebody got music on. Wait, somebody got music on. They got to cut that off.
I think that's Miss K.
Oh, for real?
Sorry, y'all.
Look, we was over here about
the ass titty, shake your titty, shake it.
Well, you know, let me get out of here, baby. Well, it's been good.
I think Russell Wilson is showing what black love's supposed to look like. He loves his wife. He stands by her. He supports her. They support each other. I think they have a beautiful relationship.
The problem here is this plain and simple toxic masculinity, and that's all it is. When I went on Twitter and I saw the horrendous things that black men were saying in response to his statement, and the majority of their statements was about, well, Sierra done had this, she ain't all that anyway, and this other fish in the sea, if some man gonna take her. And my thing is, he just said his fear is losing her. That could be from illness, that could be from anything. He didn't indicate what, how.
Right.
It was just crazy how they just went off on that man for just this putting out his love for his girl like that. And I'm like, how is he a simp? And I think that whole meaning is stupid. I don't understand why we come up with these dumb words anyway. It's just dumb.
Can we get a working example of what toxic masculinity looks like for our viewers? What is toxic masculinity? What does it look like?
Brokenness. It's a brokenness, and I would say what it resembles in our communities is anything that is emotional or connected to an awareness or understanding. And as black men, we can't pretend that black men for across the board. There are pockets of people who have gotten this, but we can't pretend like the bulk of men have been given the tools to have healthy emotional stability. We can't act like that never happened. And it's not defending any of those men for their comments, but we can't pretend like we have not taught, our community has not taught Black men that we can't share our emotions or our feelings, or we can't even have them, let alone share them.
So is
we
a
can't
part of
pretend like these things. Go ahead.
Just for clarity, it's a part of toxic masculinity, the inability to be able to emotionally express or to.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say the inability, but
I will say that for me, that for what toxic masculinity is, you have to look at it on two spectrums. One is white patriarchy and how that system has been set up and what that looks like for white men. And then the fact that Black men and our toxicness comes from the fact that we are still trying to uphold to a white supremacist view of what a Black man should be.
Right.
Because we follow these tropes that we are a buck, that we're not supposed to have emotions, we should be fucking around, we should be doing this. And then it evolved and grew over time. And it makes you less and less. Because if you look one way and outside of that, then you are no longer a man.
Can you tell me if this is a fair definition? Toxic masculinity is what can come of teaching boys that they can't express emotion openly, that they have to be tough all the time, that anything other than that makes them feminine or weak.
Yeah, this is like telling
toxic masculinity. I'm sorry, Miss Mizell. So toxic masculinity basically states, is it misogynistic?
In nature, there's misogyny as a part of it. Misogyny is one of the systems that toxic masculinity upholds. I mean, this exists on a spectrum because toxic masculinity, the idea or even the concept is going to look different culturally. It's going to look different, by what your group said a man should look like. And I think, or that could just be masculinity as a whole. What makes it toxic is when you start putting it on other people. And then it's like if I said to my girl, like, look, you can't go out wearing this because I'm not with you. And if you do, it's like, so now there's a part of it where I'm trying to control you because I feel like you're mine.
Right.
And there's ownership over it. Now you have someone who's like, oh, I like to feel that way. I like to feel like my man own me and all this other shit is wonderful until he beats you.
We own each other.
No, but it doesn't have nothing to do about your feelings. It's literally fuck your feelings. It's like I can cheat, but you can't.
But there's so many layers.
Well, there's a lot of men that think like that.
But then if you go against what I say, then it's a total disrespect to me as a man, and now I gotta be uber aggressive.
Or my homeboys think that I should do this. So I'm going to listen to them. Fuck my relationship. I'm going to listen to them because I don't want them to think that I'm not a man if I don't say this to you. If I don't cheat on you, then I'm a bitch. If I don't, fucking act like I don't give a shit about how you feel, then I'm a bitch. If I don't, it's all of it.
You a bitch.
It's all of that.
How many times you heard as like if a little boy was crying, suck that up. Boys don't cry. Boys, suck it up. You
right. Because the thing is that men don't hold this up by themselves. There are women that also reinforce these.
Well, the women are the
stereotypes. So when they reinforce this, then it's like shit. And that's not what a man is supposed to look like. Because even she said, I'm not supposed to do this shit. Or I want a dude that's going to beat my ass or fuck around on me. Like one of my favorite things, and this was something one of my cousins said. She was just like, if he don't cheat on me, then I don't want him. Because I don't want no nigga that another bitch don't want. Now, you felt that way until his ass brought you some fucking herpes. And then you was like, oh, why you do this? Well, bitch, you just said it.
So, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad this goes into... So, Candace states that her statement was toxic masculinity.
Sir, if you don't put your phone on mute.
Damn.
Sorry, guys.
I thought you were about to get a switch.
Look, you see me. I said, look, it sounded like he was in. Look, it sounded like we was in school. And this was
Yo, he put the whole Baltimore City public school voice on.
I was about to say, I am paying
I fold
attention.
my hands and shit. I fold my hands.
I am paying attention, Mr. Causa. I didn't turn the screen off. No.
I go talk to his teeth and you don't turn that motherfucker.
Y'all crazy.
Miss Owens said that toxic masculinity is the shield that most men slaps us with to protect themselves from what broke them in the first place. And I see what she's saying there. I actually agree with everyone. I just wanted to get a working definition, an idea of what toxic masculinity. I think a lot of times men don't know that that's what they're doing.
Because there's so many
different.
I don't think it's one real definition for it. It really, as I think Kay said, it's depending on your experience. It's depending on where you come from, what your environment was, what you were lacking, what trauma you had. Like it is no, and I think people try to fit men under one working definition of it, and it's not. You can't. It's impossible.
It's different
because you don't know what broke that person.
Right.
Which brings me to another cocktail question, because this is the month of love, which is my favorite month. And I know I wasn't here with y'all while y'all was celebrating Valentine's Day. And I know that it's a made-up holiday, but it's an excuse to intentionally and deliberately love. And that's why I love it so much. I think, people get an opportunity to do it 365 days a year, but because we're caught up being adults every day, every hour, every minute, every moment, we don't intentionally and deliberately love. And that's not just someone else, that's yourselves. So I think a lot of times when people think of Valentine's Day, they think of just how we are romantically in love with someone else. But it's like, for me, it's how you love. How are you loving on yourself? How are you loving your community? How are you loving your family? How are you loving your friends? What are you doing? Do you deliberately take time out for these people that are in your lives? So that's why it's an important space for me. It's an important month for me. And it's also Black History Month, which makes me want to celebrate Black love even more. So I wasn't with y'all on Valentine's Day, and it wasn't because I was celebrating Black love. It was because I was on a plantation. I mean, I wish I was doing that, Nate. I wish that I was playing a mouth-based video game, but I was not playing a mouth-based video game. I was working for real.
He said,
first of all, don't act like none of y'all ever put that Atari game controller in y'all mouth just to see if y'all could, take it down. I know y'all did.
Oh, you was a child. See, that's that brokenness we talking about.
So anyway, I wanted to know what are some, now we're talking about people that have been with, that have couples. A lot of times when we think about Valentine's Day, we think of people that are, in relationships. But what about the singles? Are there any single websites? What are some of the good dating apps? I want to know. Name me some good dating apps. And the reason why I want to know it's not for me. I know that there are a lot of single individuals that are.
Oh, it's for you. It's for you. It's for you.
Oh,
Sue,
no.
Sue, it will be for you.
Everyone knows me. No, everyone knows me. I haven't done a dating app since 1997. Yep, that's exactly why I stopped. It was a mess for me. And that was before it was. That was before it was online. So we actually had to call into a phone, and that was the old school way of dating.
On burglars.com.
Yeah. So when I was on a dating app, that was way back in the day. Now everything, and I think the dating apps that was out there was Black Voices a dating app?
You was old.
Chat room.
I was damn fine.
It was just it Black felt like a dating app to me. So here's a Blue Tail.
I remember Black Planet. I thought Black Planet was the one.
I want to say it might have been, but here's a Blues Tale about. I want to say it was Black Voices. So I had met this guy in Black Voices, and he was a very nice guy. He had a wonderful personality in the room. Now, mind you, we didn't have this. I think we were just starting with webcams and everything like that. And you actually had to purchase the webcam and, hook it up to your computer. So the old clanky ones. And I never forget, we would have these wonderful conversations. And honestly, had what occurred not occurred, we probably would have dated. But what happened was, we were at a gay club in Baltimore City, and he was there, and I think he was trying to speak to me, but I didn't recognize him because I was used to his image on the Facebook page, and seeing him in person was completely different. Now no, he wasn't. It wasn't unattractive. It was just that the presentation of who he was on this site was completely different from who he was in person. Now, not that he was unattractive, because he's very attractive, but what happened was I'm a tunnel vision person. And if I'm really focused on something else, I won't pay attention to anything else. That's just me. So I am clearly able to I'll go into a blind space, and I'm focused intently on one thing and one thing only. And if you're waving at me on a side or any place else, I won't notice you. He got so offended because he was speaking and I didn't notice it. And I was like, well, why didn't you just come up to me and tap me and say hello and introduce yourself? But to me, it just made me think, okay, now I don't want to talk to you any longer, because then I think you're slow. Because if you're doing this from across the room, or you're doing like that, and I'm literally across the room, just coming up to me and tapping me on the shoulder and introducing yourself would have been an appropriate thing. And that was the thing that I was dealing with all of the dating. It just was like,
I think a lot of those sites made us self-conscious and made a lot of people lack the ability to have social interaction. So talking to you in person probably was frightening for him if he was used to just talking to people online.
And I like to think of myself as the type of person who, if I am a person that likes personalities first. So I know I see you. And I know that I see what you look like and how you portray yourself. But if I have an actual conversation with you and I feel like you have some depth to you, then that's actually going to make me attracted to you than anything else. I've been with some mud ducks, and let me tell you, and some swamp donkeys. But they've had some wonderful conversations, and I felt good about being with them. Now, honestly, that got me through the humps. And I'm quite sure that I wasn't appealing to everybody that I came across. But I know one thing for sure, and two things for certain, I could hold a conversation. And that was good. You couldn't get that from some of these websites. But that's my experience. Are there any dating apps out here that people should just go to? Now, I only know one. It's called Muzzmatch.
What?
Muzzmatch.
I think we gave them a whole list last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
Y'all gave them a list last week?
We gave them a whole list of ones to go to and ones to stay away from.
Oh, yeah.
Who was the ones to go to? Now, Muzzmatch is a gay Muslim meeting site.
Oh,
I thought you were saying muskrat. Say it again.
Muzzmatch.
Gotcha.
M-U-S.
As I said last week, that if you want to get some good
MUZMATHC,
free pussy, go to christianmingles.com. Go get the easiest bitches.
And so,
but I think it's personal to you, because what works for one person may not work for somebody else. I don't want to know what you want sexually before I know your name. So that may work for some people. That may turn some people on. Other people,
it
not
depends
so much.
on why I'm on there for the moment. Like, I may just want to nut.
So is that Christian? So is that Christian mingle?
Sometimes you just feel like
No.
Come on over to my place.
What they there doing? They having prayer meeting.
Did you look it up? I see. Is that the correct one?
Yeah, that's it.
Laying hands.
Hands and
so now there's another one called J-Date.
What the fuck is that?
That's for Jewish folk.
Oh, good, Gary, you good at this game. Do it again, please.
Right.
Name another one.
Ligalagi. What's that one? Ligalagi.
It's another one for lesbians. Her.
Wait a minute. Jay.
Did you see that?
Rigmarole for people that want to fuck dead people.
Oh God.
Oh
God.
my goodness.
Silver. It's called Silver Singles. That's an actual for seniors. I think it's called Silver Singles.
What's the sugar daddy? I think it's one
Sugar
called
baby.
Sugar.
Wait a minute. That
Sugar
one
baby.
called her. No, the one called her is called Wear Her.
No, that
sounds creepy.
Some lamb type shit. They might end up with.
Right.
I mean, it's either that or pinkcupid.com.
That's one. I think one is called Her, but I don't know if it might be. I might be saying it wrong. It may be. I know Pink Cupid is definitely one. We know Christian Mingle. We know Tinder.
Farmers.com.
Fish.
Plenty of Fish.
No, don't. That was one of the
Don't
ones
do
we
that.
put
No,
on.
no,
He
no,
just
no.
listed them. We did it last week. He just
Right.
was looking
Why
for
is
this
it
stuff.
swamp meat? Michelle, why is it swamp meat? That sounds like sweaty balls.
Ew.
Well, that's what some
Maybe
people
that's what she was
into.
looking for. And if she was looking for sweaty balls, and you go to swamp, don't get it.
Musty.com.
Ooh. They got one called. They got one. I'm looking through the
People
apps
like
now. They got
musty
one.
smells.
They got one called PS, and it's called herpes dating.
Nope.
Pause.
But if they
Thank you.
both have it, then they can both get together.
It is. It's one called. I want to call positive singles or something like that, and it's about individuals with STDs.
Okay.
Right, because
That's someone for everyone, and it's called
What you got,
positive.
Dad?
What's it called? Positive singles.
These are crazy.
breaking up. Are you frozen?
Seeking arrangements.
Chris, I was trying to figure out what you said. I couldn't hear you.
Oh shit! I don't even know what the fuck I said, man.
What's it
What
called?
was the one? What was the
Seeking.
one with the high end people on there where they was going and getting like high class ass? It was like
Seeking arrangements.
that page where
It's-
people.
I got it. Seeking.com.
It's one called Afro Introductions. That's where you I guess people meet African women.
Oh, they want some trouble.
This shit is crazy.
Uh-oh.
That's trouble.
You see what Michelle said?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, swamp! You know what a swamp meat is? That's when it. Oh, that's horrible, Michelle. You're horrible. You're not supposed to be that type of way on this page. This is why I'm inviting you on to be one of our socialites. But you're horrible. That was horrible.
Candace said Craigslist. Is that a good place or a bad
No.
place?
That shut down.
Don't do it. I did it. Don't do it.
Wasn't that where you met the lady that when you was
Trying to
in
catch that was she was
Doing the
sacrificing
ritual?
puppies and trying to get me.
Oh no, fuck no.
Yeah.
That should be a disclaimer. You need to write that so people will never go to Craigslist again.
Yeah. Okay, so that was for my singles. So if you are tuning in to the
Or
Cocktail
people who
Social,
looking to be single.
we had a large list for all
couples
the many different people that have tuned in. We had for single gay men, we had for single lesbian women, we had for farmers, we had fish.
Middies. You put middies
Plenty
on
of
there?
fish. What's plenty of fish? That's for the fishes.
No, man, don't do it.
Middies. That's for people with man titties, and they,
Not middies. Come on. Man.
No, I don't. I never heard of that website, Middies.
I'm on it. I am not just a user. I am also.
I am not you.
For women who like man boobs.
Okay.
That's all right. Everybody can suck titties at this party.
Oh, geez.
You ever had fat
People
force
are
go
doing
inside
really
it?
well.
That's when you do a stroke and that fat come and thrust even deeper in there. You gotta get a fat pump.
I think he's lactating.
That's
ain't my
sweat.
titty, bitch.
That's
You was
sweat.
the wrong hole.
Right. You You got a treat just now.
That's titty scum.
Close, and I got excited and it shot
Hold
up.
on, I need a drink.
Shouldn't have licked there. I got excited and it drips, man. That's good. It dripped right up. That's all nut, baby. There ain't no damn.
This had to be
No.
Mr. Gilmore's question. Mr. Gilmore, so we're going to ask one of your questions. What spot or action makes you wet hard drip a little? Is that your question?
Oh my
What is
God.
my question?
Wait, what happened?
He said, well, of course, that's my question.
Everybody has a spot that you know will break you down. That if somebody hitting that one little, you then like, it look like you scratching that part of your ear. You just keep
like an orgasm.
Oh, that feels so good.
Look like you have a whole stroke.
Okay, so Socialite, since he posted this question, okay, what's your spot? Because basically he's saying, what's your erogenous zone? What is your erogenous zone?
I'm not telling that.
I can tell mine, and it's hard. Like right behind my neck, which makes getting my hair cut very difficult because it just
nothing getting his hair cut.
Well, the clipper, especially if it's the loud clippers and just that buzzing sound, I have a hard time.
Your barber is probably looking at you.
So you're attracted to the buzzing sound?
It's not the buzzing, it's the vibration.
Oh.
And it's like it's right in the center. I don't know.
Get him one of them
and that's
toys?
where my birthmark is. So I don't know whether it's that or
about this guy. They had it on Facebook and one of them in the Be More Petty group about a guy in Baltimore who goes around cutting people hair naked.
Well, he's not just in Baltimore. He travels around.
Wait a minute, hold on. Of course, Nate knew straight on. He's like, well, he not
no.
He said, I go and get that trim.
No, I don't. That wouldn't be sexy to me because I see hair and all that.
Hey, Philly.
I interviewed this guy once for another and he basically he's a barber. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear me now.
Oh, he's frozen.
So he goes around to various places, like he travels, and he just gets naked. And he used to be a stripper who turned into a barber, and now he cuts hair.
Correction. He does a deep correction. No. He's a barber. No, correction. He's an adult entertainer that also barbers. That was his way of making more money. Mm-hmm. So what happens is he is an adult entertainer, but he also is good at being a barber. And so what he does is he gets other adult entertaining individuals to come in and get their hair done and then haircut. And
you all right over there, Blue?
You get other services
right there,
while you're getting your hair, but you get other services while you're getting your hair cut. And it's not like, I think one of them is gay, but there are multiple ones. Like there's one that's straight, there's one that's gay. There are women who do it now. Like it's an open market.
Kay, and then Mr. Gilmore.
You said other services.
That was my question. Like, so what the hell else you getting done? You literally getting trimmed while getting trimmed.
Happy ending.
Yes.
Well, it's not an ending. You getting it while you're getting your hair cut.
Yeah, so what he'll do is he'll get somebody as
on you while he cutting like bad.
Well, it's not him. It's somebody else.
As you're getting your hair cut, you may have someone come out and perform oral sex on you.
Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily him.
But he's also naked too. and also now wait about hold on for females. Now these guys are sexy. They do body massages. So basically they get down to their bare minimals. Like they're in like Speedos and boxes, and they massage you with their body. No, it's really good. They massage you with their
I got flagged. I tried to post it on Facebook and they flagged me.
Oh.
They got me. Wait a minute.
Flag on the play. They were like flag on the play.
No,
But they can't block me here.
I agree. Because while getting your hair cut will have your hair out. Yeah, it will have your hair cut if it's good.
I'm about to say
if you can sit still doing some oral sex and not move in any way, shape, or form,
that's trash.
That's trash.
That's trash.
Well, see, that's why they gotta have that thing like you do when you get your hair washed, and they got that little scoop in it. You can put your head in that little scoop in the back of the chair, and then that way you ain't gotta move or nothing.
No, I don't know. I don't think scoop will help you with oral sex. If you well, I know, because if it is bad, you be, because if somebody was using teeth, on you, you would probably, you'd have a fucked up
Femi
shape
said
up.
here while getting your hair cut, we'll have your hair cut fucked up, even if it's bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Candace said sharp objects while having sex. Nah, I'm good.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put it in the group. The guy that I interviewed. I'm gonna show you his.
Oh, so that's not the dude I put in there from Twitter.
I was like, don't you put that shit in the damn chat now. I thought you
him.
might say something. This is when I did it.
Please don't send video.
It's funny. He talking about
it is. Well, it's a video, so you'll see. Look at everybody. Look at the ones who want to see it.
Getting your ass ate while trying to get a haircut.
I hope not. I don't want to even. That don't even sound erotic.
No, and then the hair clippings falling down too. Yeah,
and
you got that dust in the hair.
That is so ungood.
Okay.
First of all, pubic hair is like a fish bone.
Hello.
Right.
Oh, that is sick and wow. Oh.
Would you go get your hair cut?
Wait a minute. Goddamn minute.
I would now. Do you see why you would go get your hair cut? Because I would.
I'll be a bald bitch.
His haircuts start at $150.
I bet.
Cause he a prostitute. That's prostitution.
Yo, you took it right out my mouth. I was about to say he a ho.
That's prostitution.
So the dude, wait a minute. This don't add.
Oh.
Cause the dude is getting his hair cut, but the dude.
Oh.
He naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did his dick jump?
Right.
Yeah.
But what? I had questions.
Oh shit, no.
It's prostitution.
Y'all sound like when people will watch Two Girls, One Cup right now.
Oh, woo!
That's what y'all
do it. Don't do it. Whatever you do, if you go, you send somebody else. Don't you do it.
Nate, you had
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
And
it's a puppy under that goddamn.
This guy right here, he's out of Atlanta. So
so that was his wait.
Mm-hmm.
This is a porno.
Wait a minute.
I told you.
No, I'm telling you, this is his real job. So he cuts hair for a living.
But he does this.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Rolling orgies is what he does.
Wait a minute. And then
that young man is talented.
No, that's the wrong one.
I'm telling you, that's what it looked like.
Oh God!
I mean, it's not for the faint of heart.
It's not.
Really? With the mask? Oh, wow.
Yes. I will say this. Yeah. You could probably find this for all of my adult. You could find this definitely on any of your porn sites because it's definitely on Pornhub.
We're gonna start doing naked shows. That's what it's gonna be, naked concerts.
As long as you cater to your audience, you're good. Because he goes in there and he has a good time with anybody that comes up in that barbershop. Let me tell you something. If they come up there with that 150. He is like now. What I will say, sex sells.
Oh, baby!
And he's just found a new way of capitalizing on his.
My mouth hanging open.
It's nothing.
Y'all better get your bodies together. We doing naked shows.
I bet I down.
But you gonna pay for liposuction and get this back fat and all this other shit for the side.
It's a market for that.
It's
somebody
for that.
I'm
and
talking about
trust
that
me,
old
somebody is
natural.
going to pay for it.
It's a
Somebody is going to pay for it,
It's a
Mazel.
market for guys that like back fat. Let me tell you something. I saw this dude that was about 100 pounds, and he had a girl 300 pounds sit on his face, and he was in heaven. And so let me tell you something. I wanted to call the paramedics.
He thought he was going to die.
We going to pour gravy on ourselves in the second act.
He was about to smotherize him. She was about to smotherize him, but
she might not get finished singing. We have been singing on each other. Like cats in that bit.
What's it called? The smothered band. It's smothered band.
He was in. He caught one of the back fat rolls, and he was skiing on it, surfing on that back fat roll.
I hope that was an onion I just licked. I hope this was onion gravy.
Ooh, it's chunky.
Well, I see you, mother. I saw you the first time. Of course, socialites and my Wally Kits and Wally Cat. My mother is beckoning me.
What am I chewing on?
Oh God! Did you put God baby?
Mother is telling me to rap, and so
that went fast.
Yeah, it did. We had a wonderful conversation. I missed y'all so much last week, but it is time for me to go home because Mother is saying that I have to leave.
Okay.
She just needs to get a boyfriend already.
A tantrum. Throw a tantrum.
Ready, set, go. I'm here for the tantrum.
I want to go.
So, for everyone that tuned in, this is the Kocktail Social. This is where we engage in adult conversation over a few cocktails. So join us next week at 7 p.m. No, don't let. There are no angels on this show. All of the angels come from the pits of hell on this show. So, so I will say that you know every one of them omens. So, join us next week for another Kocktail Social on Be Exposed Radio here at 7 p.m. See you next week. I don't know. Is it next? Yeah, next week.
Bye.
You better watch the next 14 minutes of this video.
Okay.
It's 14 minutes long.
Listen, sir, let me tell you something. It's actually 19 minutes and 47 seconds.
Yeah.
And
I ain't see that one.
Oh shit.
they appeared the regalness. Tatted up, muscled up, heavy hung, meaty young men.
Everybody.